Welcome to the sexual harassment training. This program was updated this year, and everyone is asked to sign off on this form to show that you have become aware of what sexual harassment is and the policies for reporting. This green form is the form we're going to use for reporting sexual harassment. And if you need more information about sexual harassment in schools, it is available in the counseling office. Also, I would be happy to help anyone with their reporting if they have any questions. The Board of Education of Prince George's County affirms that sexual harassment on the basis of sex is a violation of both federal and state laws. The board believes that sexual harassment is both morally wrong and offensive. Therefore, the board does not tolerate or condone any discrimination or harassment committed by a school system employee, volunteer, or by another student. Prohibited behaviors may include, but are not limited to, bias harassment, bullying, defamation, disrespect, harassment, hazing, reckless endangerment, sexual harassment, and threat as defined by this code. What is discrimination? When a person has, on the basis of race, color, sex, age, national origin, religion, marital status, sexual orientation, or disability, been excluded from participating in, denied the benefits of, or been subjected to discrimination under any academic, extracurricular, research, occupational training, or other educational program or activity. Treating one person differently from another and determining whether such person satisfies any requirement or condition for the provision of aid, benefit, or service. Providing different aid, benefits, or services, or providing aid, benefits, or services in a different manner. Denying any person such aid, benefit, or services. Subjecting any person to separate or different rules of behavior, sanctions, or other treatment. Discriminating against any person in the application of any rules of appearance. Aiding or perpetuating discrimination against any person by providing significant assistance to any agency, organization, or person which discriminates on the basis of race, color, sex, age, national origin, religion, marital status, sexual orientation, or disability in providing any aid, benefit, or service to students, or otherwise limiting any person in the enjoyment of any right, privilege, advantage, or opportunity. Harassment. The harassment of an individual on the basis of his or her race, color, sex, age, national origin, religion, marital status, sexual orientation, or disability is just as demeaning and disrespectful as discriminating against such an individual on those bases. Harassment includes, but is not limited to, conduct based on a person's race, color, sex, age, national origin, religion, marital status, sexual orientation, or disability that has the purpose or effect of unreasonably interfering with an employee's work or a student's education or extracurricular performance, creating an intimidating, hostile, or offensive working or educational environment, retaliating against an individual for having reported or threatened to report harassment, or for having participated as a witness in an investigation of an alleged harassment, denying, limiting, differentiating, or conditioning the provisions of aid, benefits, services, or treatment protected under law based on a person's race, color, sex, age, national origin, religion, marital status, sexual orientation, or disability. Prohibited behaviors include verbal conduct, such as derogatory statements, slurs, or comments, visual conduct, such as derogatory posters, photography, cartoons, drawings, or gestures that create a hostile, abusive, intimidating, or offensive environment. Physical conduct such as assault, unwanted touching, blocking normal movement, or interfering with a person, or criminal or prohibited offenses committed against an individual. Sexual harassment. In addition to the type of behavior and conduct described previously, sexual harassment may include the following: threats or demands to submit to sexual requests in order to maintain a student's educational status or avoid some other loss, and offers of benefits in return for sexual favors. Attempted rape, and other criminal offenses of a sexual nature. Unwanted sexual attention on a continuing and pervasive basis from peers or anyone with whom the student must interact in order to fulfill educational responsibilities where the individual's responses are restrained by fear of reprisals. Unwelcome sexual advancements, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical conduct of a sexual nature when submission to such conduct is made explicitly or implicitly a term or condition of a student's education or extracurricular activities. Submission to or rejection of such conduct is used as the basis for decisions regarding education or extracurricular activities, or such conduct has the purpose or effect of unreasonably interfering with the student's educational or extracurricular performance, or creating an intimidating, hostile, or offensive educational environment. A student who believes that he or she has been subjected to discrimination or harassing acts or conduct should bring such acts or conduct to the prompt attention of a teacher, pupil personnel worker, counselor, or other appropriate school administrator. Filing, reporting, and investigating procedures. It is recommended that all persons reporting a complaint of alleged discrimination and/or harassment use the reporting procedures outlined in Administrative Procedure 4170. There are several types of allegations. Allegations by employees against employees or volunteers. Allegations by employees or volunteers against students. Allegations by students against employees or volunteers. Allegations by students against students. Reports against an employee or volunteer must be reported immediately to the Chief Administrator for Human Resources for further investigation. It's not to be investigated by any school employee other than that Chief Administrator for Human Resources, his or her designee, or the Office of School Security if called upon. It must also be reported to the appropriate authorities by the employee to whom the complaint is made, if there is a suspicion or belief that the student has been subjected to child abuse or neglect. Any Prince George's County public school student who believes that he or she has been subjected to discrimination or harassment should report such conduct promptly. Students may seek guidance, support, and/or advocacy in addressing matters related to discrimination or harassment from teachers, counselors, administrators, or other school staff. The report may be made verbally or in writing to any staff member who shall assist the student in reporting the alleged discrimination or harassment to the principal. Every complaint submitted to the school administration shall be reported to the Regional Executive Director, who will forward the complaint to the Chief Administrator for Human Resources. Any student who is found to have violated the discrimination or harassment policy shall be subject to disciplinary action by the Regional Executive Director, principal, or designee, pursuant to the Code of Student Conduct. Depending on the severity of the offense, such actions could include but not be limited to administrative conferences with appropriate parties, counseling, suspension, or expulsion. Confidentiality shall be maintained throughout the investigation to the extent practical and appropriate under the circumstances. Any complaint of alleged discrimination or harassment will be disclosed to the alleged offender reported to the Chief Administrator for Human Resources, and investigated as appropriate. Filing, reporting, and investigating procedures. I think we did go over these. I think that ends our presentation on sexual harassment.